Admiral Gray stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship, his 4 eyes fixed on the blue planet ahead. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, wasn't supposed to be special. It was just another world to study and catalog. But something felt different this time. The probe they had sent 3 days ago had gone silent. Not destroyed, just silent. This had never happened before. Usually, primitive species either ignored their probes or tried to shoot them down. But humans had done something else. They had caught it. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple objects leaving Earth's atmosphere," reported First Officer Blue. His antenna twitched nervously as he studied the readings. "They appear to be primitive spacecraft. Their technology level is confusing." Gray moved closer to the display. The human vessels were a mess of different technologies cobbled together, as if they had rushed their development. Some parts looked advanced enough to be Council-level tech, while others seemed barely able to function in space. It made no sense. "Send the standard greeting package," Gray ordered. The Council had done this thousands of times before. Show up, impress the locals with advanced technology, and welcome them to the galactic community. Simple and safe. But the humans didn't follow the script. Instead of responding with awe or fear, the Earth ships formed a defensive pattern. Not a primitive one, but a complex formation that suggested years of military planning. How could they have military formations for space combat when they'd never met aliens before? "Sir, they're broadcasting a message," Blue announced, "in multiple formats and frequencies. They've already cracked our communication protocols." Gray felt his scales tingle. That should have been impossible. The Council's protocols were designed to be unhackable by young civilizations. Yet these humans had done it in less than 3 days with just a damaged probe. The message was simple. "This is Earth Defense Force. You are in restricted space. State your intentions or withdraw beyond lunar orbit." They're threatening us. Gray couldn't hide his disbelief. The Council fleet had enough firepower to level continents. Any rational species would know better than to challenge them. He decided to demonstrate their technological superiority. Target one of their unmanned satellites with a low power pulse, just enough to disable it. The moment the Council ship fired, everything changed. The human vessels didn't retreat. They attacked. Not with blind courage or primitive weapons, but with calculated precision. They had studied the probe, learned from it, and adapted their weapons accordingly. 3 Council ships reported shield failures within minutes. The humans had somehow figured out the exact frequency needed to disrupt their defensive systems. Impossible. Unless they let us hit their satellite. Gray realized with growing horror. They sacrificed it to study our weapons. But what truly terrified him wasn't their clever tactics or surprising technology. It was what his sensors revealed about the human ships themselves. They weren't automated or controlled remotely. They had crews. Living beings willing to fight an unknown, superior force face to face. "Sir, we're detecting nuclear signatures," Blue reported, his voice shaking. "They've armed their primitive atomic weapons." Gray stared at the screen in shock. These humans were willing to use weapons that could harm themselves just to stop an unknown threat. What kind of species evolved to think this way? "All ships, withdraw to safe distance," Gray ordered. "Send the emergency first contact package. Full technological and cultural exchange." As the Council fleet retreated, Gray watched the human ships maintain their defensive position. They didn't pursue or celebrate. They simply held their ground, ready to fight again if necessary. In his centuries of service, Gray had encountered many species. Some were stronger, some more technologically advanced. But he had never met a species that combined such primitive technology with advanced tactical thinking, or such powerful weapons with the will to use them against themselves if needed. The humans hadn't just survived their first contact with an alien civilization. They had forced one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy to retreat, and they had done it not through superior technology or numbers, but through sheer determination and the willingness to do whatever it took to protect their world. As his ship jumped to safety, Gray sent his first report to the Council. Exercise extreme caution with humanity. They are not primitive warriors. They are something far more dangerous. Survivors who have learned to turn everything, even their own limitations, into weapons. Traditional assessment protocols are inadequate. We need to completely reassess our approach to this species. Dr. Stone walked through the alien research station, trying not to show how amazed he was by everything around him. 2 weeks ago, he had been teaching at a university. Now, he was the first human scientist invited to work with the Galactic Council's research team. The invitation had come right after humanity's surprising defense against the Council's fleet. The alien laboratory was filled with equipment he couldn't even begin to understand. Holographic displays showed complex data streams, and strange machines hummed with unknown energy. But what caught his attention most were the looks the alien scientists gave him, a mixture of fear and fascination. "Please step into the scanner," asked Dr. Leaf, the lead alien researcher. Her plant-like body swayed gently as she adjusted the settings. "We need to understand your species better." Stone did as asked, wondering what they would find. The scanner hummed, creating a detailed image of his body. The alien scientists gathered around their displays, their expressions changing from curiosity to disbelief. "This can't be right," Leaf said, her leaves trembling. "Your bone density, muscle structure, and nervous system, they're built for constant damage and repair." "Well, yes," Stone replied. "Humans are persistence predators. We evolved to keep going even when injured." The silence in the room was heavy. The alien scientists looked at each other, their bodies showing signs of distress that even Stone could recognize. "You mean," another scientist named Root asked, "your species hunts by continuously chasing prey until it collapses from exhaustion?" Stone nodded. "Our ancestors would track animals for days, keeping them from resting or eating until they couldn't run anymore. We're not the strongest or fastest, but we can keep going longer than almost anything else." The aliens' reaction surprised him. They seemed horrified by what humans considered a basic part of their history. Leaf pulled up historical records from Earth, focusing on human hunting techniques and warfare. "Your pain tolerance," she said, her voice shaking, "it's far beyond anything we've seen in other species. You can continue functioning even with severe injuries." "That's just basic human survival," Stone explained. "We heal pretty well too. Broken bones, torn muscles, even some lost limbs. With proper medical care, we can recover from a lot." Root moved away slightly. "You speak of such injuries so casually. Our species would be traumatized by such experiences." The research continued for hours. They tested Stone's endurance, healing rate, and ability to adapt to different environments. Each result seemed to disturb the alien scientists more than the last. "Your species sleeps by becoming temporarily unconscious," Leaf noted, reading from her data. "Yet you developed complex civilizations despite being helpless for a third of each day. The psychological strength required. We're good at adapting," Stone said. "Humans can get used to almost anything. We've lived everywhere on Earth. Deserts, Arctic regions, even underwater in special habitats." The next series of tests focused on human cognitive abilities. The aliens were particularly interested in how humans handled stress and fear. Stone completed their problem-solving challenges while they simulated various threats. "Remarkable," Root said. "Under threat, your mental performance actually improves in some areas. You become more creative, more capable of lateral thinking." "Fight or flight response," Stone explained. "Adrenaline helps us think faster, react quicker. It's a survival mechanism." Leaf added the data to her growing file. "A species that becomes more dangerous when threatened. No wonder you survived multiple extinction events." As the day ended, Stone noticed the alien scientists speaking quietly among themselves. He caught fragments about warrior genes and advanced combat capabilities. But what they didn't understand was that humans hadn't evolved to be warriors. They had evolved to survive, and fighting was just one of many tools they had developed along the way. Before he left, Leaf shared one final observation. "Dr. Stone, we've studied thousands of species. Most evolved to fill a specific role in their ecosystem. But humans, you evolved to adapt, to change, to become whatever you needed to be to survive. That makes you far more unpredictable and far more dangerous than any specialized warrior race." Stone thought about this on his way back to his quarters. The aliens saw humans as terrifying because they couldn't understand them. They saw humanity's adaptability as a weapon, when really it was just their way of surviving in a world that had tried countless times to kill them. Commander Reed stood in front of 30 alien military observers, trying not to smile at their nervous movements. The Galactic Council had requested a demonstration of human combat training, and he was happy to provide one. Behind him, 20 human soldiers prepared for their daily exercises. "Today, we'll show you basic human combat drills," Reed announced. "Nothing special, just routine training." The alien observers, led by General Swift of the Council forces, watched with their various sensing organs. Some had multiple eyes, others used antennae or sensor arrays. All of them seemed unsure about what they were about to see. "Begin with standard warm-up," Reed ordered his troops. The humans started running. After 10 minutes, the aliens began to show signs of concern. After 20 minutes, they were visibly disturbed. After 30 minutes, General Swift finally spoke up. "Commander, your troops have been running continuously. When will they stop to rest?" Reed checked his watch. "This is just the warm-up, General. They'll run for another 30 minutes. Then we'll start the actual training." The aliens whispered among themselves. Their own species could manage short bursts of speed, but extended running was seen as a form of torture. Yet these humans were doing it voluntarily, and they were talking and joking while they ran. Next came the obstacle course. The soldiers crawled through mud, climbed walls, and carried heavy weights. When one soldier fell and cut his arm, he simply wrapped a bandage around it and continued training. "He's injured," one of the alien observers called out. "Surely he must stop." "It's just a scratch," Reed explained. "As long as it doesn't affect his performance, he can keep going." The demonstration moved on to combat scenarios. The soldiers split into 2 teams, using training weapons to simulate battle. They didn't just fight. They adapted to changing situations, communicated without speaking, and kept fighting even when tired or disadvantaged. General Swift studied their movements with growing concern. "Your soldiers, they're not following fixed patterns. Each one fights differently." "That's the point," Reed said. "We train them to think independently. In real combat, situations change. They need to adapt." The aliens were particularly shocked by the hand-to-hand combat training. Humans willingly engaged in physical contact, grappling and striking each other in ways that would seriously injure most alien species. "This is how you practice?" Another observer asked. "By actually hitting each other. Best way to learn is by doing," Reed replied. The pain helps them remember what works and what doesn't. The final demonstration was a survival exercise. The soldiers were given minimal supplies and told to complete a mission in harsh conditions. They had to find food, create shelter, and overcome various challenges while staying combat ready. General Swift watched as the humans ate things they found in the forest, drank from streams after purifying the water, and slept on the ground. "Your species willingly endures these conditions. For training. We train for the worst possibilities," Reed explained. "In real combat, you don't get to choose your conditions. You have to work with what you have." As the day ended, the soldiers gathered for a final review. Despite being covered in mud, sweat, and minor injuries, they were laughing and joking about their performance. This seemed to disturb the aliens more than anything else they had seen. "They're enjoying this," General Swift noted with disbelief. "They take pleasure in activities that would traumatize most species." Reed thought carefully about his response. We don't enjoy suffering, General. We enjoy overcoming challenges. There's a difference. Before leaving, General Swift made one final observation. Commander, we came here expecting to assess your military capabilities. Instead, we've discovered something far more concerning. Your entire species seems built for warfare, yet you claim to be peaceful. We're not built for warfare, Reed corrected him. We're built to survive. We can fight if we need to, but it's not our first choice. It's just one of many things we've learned to do well. The aliens left with their reports, but Reed knew they still didn't understand. They saw human military training as proof of humanity's warrior nature. What they missed was that humans trained so hard precisely because they didn't want to fight. In their experience, being strong enough to fight often meant not having to. The Council's archives were usually quiet, but today they buzzed with activity. Researcher Spark moved quickly through the holographic displays, his crystalline form reflecting the light as he studied Earth's military history. Around him, other Council historians watched the events of human warfare unfold with growing unease. The head of the Council's historical division, Elder Dawn, floated nearby, her energy form pulsing with concern as she watched recordings from Earth's world wars. How can a species survive this level of conflict? Spark pulled up more data streams. That's not even the most remarkable part. Look at this. He displayed images of ancient human battles, showing how smaller forces had defeated larger ones through clever tactics. They call it guerrilla warfare, he explained. When outmatched, humans don't surrender. They adapt. They change how they fight. They use the environment, weather, and even their own limited technology against stronger enemies. The historians watched as scenes from human history played out. They saw armies crossing frozen mountains, soldiers fighting in burning deserts, and people surviving in the harshest conditions imaginable. This can't be right, another researcher said, checking the data. These humans fought in temperatures that should have killed them. They marched for days without rest. They survived on minimal supplies. Elder Dawn moved closer to the displays. Show me their conflicts with advanced technology. Spark brought up modern warfare records. The aliens watched in silence as humans demonstrated their ability to adapt to new weapons and technologies almost instantly. What took other species generations to master, humans learned to counter in years or even months. They learn from every battle, Spark noted. Each defeat teaches them something new. Even their entertainment, these video games, train them to think tactically and strategically from a young age. But what truly horrified the Council of Historians was the concept of total war, the idea that an entire civilization could dedicate all its resources to fighting. Other species had rules and limits to warfare. Humans had learned to break every rule if survival demanded it. Look at their recovery times, Elder Dawn observed. Cities destroyed in their world wars were rebuilt in decades. Most species take centuries to recover from such devastation. Spark displayed another set of data. They've survived multiple extinction-level events, ice ages, plagues, natural disasters. Each time they came back stronger. They call it building back better. The historical records showed humans rebuilding after every disaster, adapting their societies and technologies to prevent similar catastrophes. They didn't just survive. They learned and improved. There's something else, Spark said, his crystalline form dimming slightly. Their information warfare. They fight with ideas, with words, with economic power. They can wage war without firing a single shot. Elder Dawn reviewed the complete historical analysis. In our entire database, there are only 3 other species that showed this level of combat adaptation. All of them destroyed themselves before reaching space. But humans were different. Despite their capacity for violence, they also showed remarkable restraint. They created laws of warfare, established rules for treating prisoners, and developed weapons they refused to use because they were too destructive. They're paradoxical, Elder Dawn concluded. They prepare for war while working for peace. They develop weapons they hope never to use. They train their fighters to be both warriors and peacekeepers. Spark added one final piece of data to his report. Most concerning is their ability to unify against external threats. Their historical records show countless examples of bitter enemies becoming allies when faced with a common danger. The implications were clear. If the Council ever became a threat to Earth, thousands of years of combat experience and survival skills would be turned against them. Humans wouldn't just fight with weapons. They would fight with everything they had, in ways the Council couldn't predict or understand. Elder Dawn made her decision. Seal these records. Mark humanity as a level 10 survival species. Add a special note. They are not dangerous because they are strong. They are dangerous because they refuse to accept defeat, no matter the odds. As the historians filed their reports, Spark made one final observation in the database. In all of recorded human history, they have never encountered a challenge they couldn't eventually overcome. The only question is, what price are they willing to pay for victory? The emergency alert blared through the Council observation post. Admiral Gray watched the screens with his 4 eyes as space pirates attacked the human mining colony on Mars. The Council fleet held back, following orders to observe how humans handled real combat. "Sir, shouldn't we help them?" First Officer Blue asked, his antenna twitching with concern. "No," Gray replied. "The Council wants to see how they fight." He didn't add that he was more worried about the pirates than the human colonists. The pirate fleet was impressive. 15 heavily armed ships against the colony's 3 defensive vessels. The pirates used advanced weapons stolen from various species. They had never lost a raid, but they had never faced humans before. The pirates sent their usual demand for surrender. The human response was short. "Leave now." When the pirates laughed and started their attack, the humans didn't follow any known combat protocol. Their 3 ships split up, each doing something different. One charged straight at the pirates, another hid behind Mars' largest moon, and the third appeared to be running away. "What are they doing?" Blue wondered. "Their tactics make no sense." Gray watched more carefully. The humans were using the pirates' expectations against them. The charging ship drew their fire. The hiding ship waited for an ambush. The retreating ship circled around for a surprise attack. But the real surprise came from the colony itself. The pirates hadn't noticed that while they focused on the ships, the colonists were turning their mining equipment into weapons. Industrial lasers meant for cutting rock now targeted pirate ships. Electromagnetic pulse generators, normally used for mineral detection, scrambled pirate sensors. "Incredible," Gray muttered. "They weaponized their civilian equipment in minutes." The pirates tried to adjust, but humans attacked from too many directions. The ship hiding behind the moon launched clouds of mining debris, creating a field of floating rocks that damaged pirate engines. The retreating ship returned, firing makeshift missiles made from mining explosives. "Sir," Blue reported, "I'm detecting strange signals." "The humans are. They're hacking the pirate ships." The colonists had analyzed pirate communication systems and found a weakness. While the pirates panicked, trying to regain control of their ships, the humans pressed their advantage. They didn't just fight to win. They fought to make sure the pirates would never return. Within an hour, it was over. The pirate fleet was destroyed or captured. The human losses were minimal. 1 ship damage, a few injuries, no deaths. But what impressed Gray most was what happened next. The humans immediately began rescuing surviving pirates from their disabled ships. They provided medical care to their wounded enemies, treated them with respect, and even offered them food and water. "I don't understand," Blue said. "Why help the pirates who just tried to kill them?" "Because that's what makes humans truly dangerous," Gray explained. "They can switch from total war to total compassion in an instant. They'll fight with everything they have. But once they win, they'll help their defeated enemies." The Council observers watched as the humans efficiently organized the aftermath. They repaired their defenses, improved their security, and turned their mining equipment back to its original purpose. They adapted their colony to be better defended, learning from the attack. "Send the report to the council," Gray ordered. "Humans don't just survive attacks. They get stronger from them." These pirates did more than fail. They gave humans combat experience and new technology to study. As they prepared to leave, Gray received a message from the colony. The humans thanked the council ships for respecting their right to self-defense, but added a warning. Next time, pirates or anyone else attacked a human settlement, the response would be even stronger. They're not just protecting themselves, Gray realized. They're establishing a reputation. After today, every pirate in the galaxy will know that attacking humans isn't worth the risk. Blue reviewed the battle data one last time. "Sir, what should we tell the council?" Gray thought carefully before answering. "Tell them we were wrong about humans. We thought they were dangerous because they knew how to fight. The truth is worse. They're dangerous because they'll do whatever it takes to protect what they care about. And now, they're starting to care about their place in the galaxy." As their ship prepared to leave Mars orbit, Gray added one final note to his report. "The most terrifying thing about humans isn't their ability to fight. It's their ability to make everyone around them stronger. Today they defended themselves. Tomorrow, they might decide to defend others. And that will change everything." Deep in the oldest section of the council archives, Elder Dawn's energy form pulsed with excitement. After months of research, she had found something incredible. The ancient record spoke of a warrior race that had vanished 50,000 years ago, a species that shared shocking similarities with humans. She called an emergency meeting of the council's highest members. The circular chamber filled with representatives from 100 different species. Admiral Gray, Dr. Leaf, and General Swift were also invited, given their experience with humans. "The records are clear," Elder Dawn began, projecting ancient images into the chamber center. "The Forerunners, as we called them, were not naturally warriors. They became warriors because they had to." The assembled aliens watched as she displayed side-by-side comparisons. Human DNA and the ancient Forerunner genetic samples showed striking similarities. But there were also crucial differences. The Forerunners modified themselves genetically to become the perfect warriors, she explained. But humans achieved similar capabilities through pure evolution and determination. Dr. Leaf moved forward, her plant-like form swaying with excitement. "That's why human bodies can do so much. They weren't designed for war. They adapted to survive increasingly difficult conditions." The ancient records showed how the Forerunners had spread across the galaxy, becoming its protectors. But they had relied on genetic engineering and advanced technology. Humans had developed their abilities naturally, making them far more adaptable. "Look at this," Elder Dawn continued, showing more data. "The Forerunners couldn't survive without their technology. But humans can lose everything and still find ways to fight back. They don't need special weapons or genetic modifications. They turn whatever they have into tools for survival." Admiral Gray shared his own observations. During the pirate attack on Mars, they turned mining equipment into weapons. No Forerunner could have done that. They were too dependent on their advanced technology. The council chamber filled with worried whispers. If humans could match the capabilities of the legendary Forerunners without genetic engineering or advanced technology, what would they become once they had access to the galaxy's most advanced sciences? General Swift stepped forward. "In our combat assessments, we noticed something unique about humans. They don't just fight with their bodies or weapons. They fight with their minds. They create new strategies, adapt to any situation, and even turn their enemy's strength against them." Elder Dawn nodded, her energy form glowing brighter. The Forerunners disappeared because they couldn't adapt to a changing galaxy. But humans have survived everything their world has thrown at them. Ice ages, plagues, wars, natural disasters. Each challenge made them stronger. The evidence was undeniable. Humans weren't the descendants of the Forerunners. They were what the Forerunners had tried to become through artificial means. Natural evolution and the harsh conditions of Earth had created something far more formidable than genetic engineering ever could. "There's more," Elder Dawn added, her voice serious. The Forerunners saw themselves as the galaxy's warriors, standing above other species. But humans protect the weak. They fight harder when defending others than when defending themselves. Dr. Leaf shared data from her research. Their bodies produce extra chemicals when protecting others, especially younger or weaker beings. They become stronger, faster, and more determined when fighting for someone else. The council members began to understand the full implications. The Forerunners had been warriors by design, but humans were protectors by choice. That made them far more unpredictable and far more dangerous. "We've been asking the wrong question," Elder Dawn concluded. "We wanted to know why humans are such terrifying warriors. But the real question is, what made them choose to be protectors instead of conquerors?" The answer lay in their history. Despite their power, humans spent more time building than fighting. They created art, music, and literature even in their darkest times. They dreamed of peace while preparing for war. As the meeting ended, Elder Dawn made one final observation. The Forerunners failed because they tried to be perfect warriors. Humans succeed because they never wanted to be warriors at all. They just refused to be victims. That determination to survive, to protect, to overcome any challenge, that's what makes them truly unstoppable. The Grand Council chamber had never been so full. Representatives from every known spacefaring race gathered to decide humanity's place in the galactic community. The evidence was clear. Humans were unlike anything they had encountered before. Admiral Gray stood before the assembly, delivering his final report. Behind him, massive screens showed scenes from the past few months. The first contact battle, the scientific studies, the military demonstrations, and the defeat of the pirates. "We came to study them. We ended up fearing them. But now we need to understand them," Gray said, his 4 eyes scanning the crowd. "Because other species are already seeking human protection." It was true. After news of the pirate battle spread, 3 different alien races had approached Earth asking for military assistance. They didn't want human weapons or technology. They wanted human teachers. Dr. Leaf stepped forward next, her plant-like form now comfortable among humans. Their strength isn't in their bodies or their weapons. It's in their ability to adapt and teach others to do the same. They don't just fight. They show others how to protect themselves. The council members watched new footage. Humans training alien soldiers, teaching them not just combat techniques, but how to think creatively, how to use their own unique abilities better. Species that had been easy prey for pirates were learning to defend themselves. General Swift added his observations. "They call it force multiplication. They don't want to fight our battles. They want to teach us to fight our own battles better. It's not what we expected from a warrior race." The evidence was overwhelming. In just a few months, human influence had spread far beyond their military capability. They shared medical knowledge, teaching other species how to heal faster. They taught engineering principles that helped others build better defenses. They even helped improve alien farming methods using their experience with difficult environments. "But there's a concern," Elder Dawn warned, her energy form dimming slightly. "Some say we're giving them too much influence, that they might become too powerful." The chamber grew quiet as Admiral Gray played one final recording. It showed a human teacher stopping a training session to help a young alien who had fallen. The human didn't just help the alien up. They showed them how to fall better next time, how to protect themselves from injury. "This is what we missed," Gray explained. "We thought their combat skills made them dangerous. But their true power is their desire to protect and teach others. They don't want to rule the galaxy. They want to help make it safer for everyone." The council's leader, a being of pure light called the first speaker, finally rose to address the assembly. "We have 3 choices. We can try to contain humanity, which our own studies show would likely fail. We can ignore them and let chaos spread, or we can accept them as they are, not as our warriors, but as our teachers. The vote was not unanimous, but the majority was clear. Humanity would be officially recognized as a protected species, free to develop their own path. More importantly, they would be allowed to continue teaching other species how to defend themselves. The human ambassador accepted the decision with characteristic simplicity. We never wanted to be the galaxy's warriors. We just don't want anyone to feel helpless. Everyone deserves to be able to protect themselves and their loved ones. As the session ended, Admiral Gray made his final entry in the official record. The great irony is now clear. We feared humans would become the galaxy's greatest warriors. Instead, they became its greatest teachers. They took everything that made them terrifying, their adaptability, their persistence, their protective instincts, and turned it into something that makes the entire galaxy stronger. Elder Dawn added her own observation. The humans have a saying, "Give someone a fish, and you feed them for a day. Teach them to fish, and you feed them for a lifetime." They applied this to warfare. Instead of fighting for others, they teach them to fight for themselves. It's not just clever, it's revolutionary. The final decision was recorded in the Council archives with a special note. Humanity's greatest strength isn't their ability to win wars. It's their ability to show others how to prevent them. They are not the warriors we feared they would be. They are something far more valuable. Teachers who know how to fight, but prefer to show others how to live in peace.